Hey guys, it's Kristen with ICStarsQuilting.com. I get so many emails about chain piecing, and I am finally, it's happening, I'm finally going to do a video about it. It helps you get your quilt off of the design board and onto your sewing machine so much faster. This way of chain piecing your quilt that I'm about to show you is something that every quilter needs to know. This is the quilt that I have put together last night. I was feeling kind of half square triangle-y. That's totally a real feeling. I was feeling half square triangle-y, and I made all of these using the fabric that I got in my QuiltyBox this month. This is what you were supposed to do with it, and I didn't. It is fabric by Dana Willard. So if you want to see the opening of that QuiltyBox and you want to see what else I got in that QuiltyBox, I'm going to put a link somewhere up on the screen so that you can go ahead and check that out after you learn how to chain piece. Okay, so what I have is my design board behind me, okay? I have all of the pieces. They're not tacked down or anything. They're just lightly laid against my design board. This is the first corner that I'm going to work on all the way across. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top piece and then I'm going to go all the way down the quilt. This is the most important part. After this, it's totally easy. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the quilt completely off of the design board and we're going to move forward. What you're going to do is you're going to take the top piece. This chain piecing technique works really well with square blocks that are all the same size. If you're getting a bunch of triangle-y pieces and stuff, you may have to alter your technique a little bit, but I usually use this technique when I am doing squared blocks, okay? So all of my blocks are exactly the same size. I've made sure and I trimmed all the little corners off my half square triangles. So you're gonna take this top block. Notice when I am moving my hands down and grabbing the block directly underneath it, I'm not turning my hands, I'm not shifting the way that my things are. You need to pay attention during this part, okay? Make sure that you do not turn your blocks because you don't want them to end up in the wrong spot, okay? So go all the way down the very first row, then you're going to do your second row. Exact same process. Go top block, next block, next block, next block, next block, all the way down that whole first column, okay? Sticky notes and a pen. Very simple. All you do is write which row you're dealing with, okay? It's very simple. That way you stay organized. Another tool that I really like to use are these clips right here. These tools right here, these little clippy things. We use them all over the place to hold fabric together. This is what I like to use to mark the top of my blocks, okay? That's very important that you keep up with the top of your blocks. If you put the clip on the top, now I know this is my 10th row and this is the top. And this is the very top row. Very simple. This very last one is the very bottom row of my quilt. So that is a tip to help keep yourself organized. What we're trying to do is cut down on chaos, not add more to it. Column 1 and column 2 right here. I'm gonna take them to the sewing machine and I'm gonna show you how to connect them together so you don't have tons of piles of pieces of fabric anymore. Okay, so I'm at my machine. I have column 1 here. I have column 2 here. I have my clips which indicate the top of my column, okay? The top of each of my pieces. So I'm going to slide those off, but I want you to be very careful. Do not start to turn these around, okay? The top is the top, is the top, is the top, and we don't mess with that. So column 2 is on my right, column 1 is on my left, because that's how it starts. This is column 1, and then I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many rows, or how many columns do I have? 12? Okay, so I'm going to take these two pieces and put right sides together. This is where your seam is going to be, right in here. Okay, so right sides together, line them up. Again, here's my top. I'm not losing sight of where my top is. I'm gonna put it in my machine. What I have in here is the 1/4 inch foot. Make sure my pieces are lined up, and I'm going to sew. Now I'm gonna sew until this goes to a little bit past the back of the piece here, okay? So your machine is not technically grabbing onto anything right here, but you are making stitch. Do not cut your thread. Leave it exactly the way that it is. Don't cut it, don't do anything to it. Then I want you to grab the next two pieces that are on here. Remember, keep this one in your left hand, this one in your right. Put them together and know where the top of your piece is. Lift up your presser foot, put it in, make sure your pieces are perfectly aligned, and sew. I like to sew where it's just a little bit past, oh, I got a fuzz. I like to sew where it's just a little bit past the end of my presser foot here. But you can see right here that these two are still connected. They're still connected back here. Then we're gonna move on to the next pieces. Remember where your top is, that goes in first. Lift up just a little bit to tuck your fabric in there, give it something to grab onto, and sew. And you're gonna continue doing that for your pieces that you have right here. I'm not moving these. This is still the top, this is the bottom. First column, second column. Continue doing exactly that until you reach the bottom of your stacks, and then I'll show you what to do next. Once you have them all sewn together, go ahead and pull them back down. I'm gonna give you a close-up here. Each of mine have just a little bit of wiggle room between them. So you're gonna pull it all the way back down. Make sure they're all facing to your left until you get to the top one. All right, then you're going to grab stack number 3. Pull the sticky note off and put it down here. I'm gonna take off my top clip, but I know that my top clip faces this. So I'm gonna go back here to my top piece. I'm gonna open this up, okay? I'm gonna take the top piece from column number 3 and sew it onto my second column right here. Exact same process. Sewing just a little bit past, but still maintaining my nice 1/4 inch seams. And then you're gonna go through and you're just gonna open up every seam as you go, keeping column 1 to the far left and the column you just did to your right. My whole quilt chain piece together. Really didn't take all that long to sew. Your quilt is going to look very skinny from left to right, but it's going to look very, very long top to bottom. That's because you have all of these spaces in here that add extra length to your quilt right now. This is a lot to handle here. I have a video on nesting your seams that is really, 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 really helpful, okay? I want you to go watch that video. I'm gonna stick a link for it down in the description below, as well as put a link up on the screen somewhere in here for you. I want you to go watch that video because it's really, really helpful. It makes it kind of like, makes it kind of wiggly. All right, it's kind of fun. And also, there's no pins in this. If I needed to come back to this on a different day, it's totally fine to lightly fold up and put away for however long I need. There's no pins, there's nothing in this that would keep it from being stored for a little bit. And that's how I chain piece my quilts. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. I'm Kristen with ICStarsQuilting.com, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.